Hey everyone, welcome back to LC Model Shipbuilding. Had the day off today and just kind of went at it working on the ship. We had the snow event up here in the Northeast, so really wasn't anywhere to go and nothing to really do. So I worked on the boat. Got to do a scratch built Verandah Cafe. When I went to put the upper deck on, I realized that the back of it was wide open, and it was a perfect opportunity to model that part of the ship. So there's some pictures in there of what we actually, in the video of what we actually, or how I actually did it and what we basically were trying to achieve. Also got the lighting wired up for the upper deck, and I have that laid down on top. So by the end of the video, we're pretty much to the point the ship would have looked when it was launched. I'd say the next video is probably going to start going after the funnels, and I still got the deck chairs and the people to put in before I can glue the upper deck down. So anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Hope you're learning something from the series. And, you know, if you are, make sure you subscribe so you get the notifications on it. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's get started back at it. So in the last video, we finished up a lot of the bridge detail, or well, putting the bridge together, and there's still quite a bit of detail left to go. So we'll be working on getting the little wind walls on the front of the bridge. They block the anchor telegraph that is on the side of both bridge wings. So we'll get them put on quick. I'll do the staircase that comes right down here on both sides. I have that in photo etch, and that's drying right now, so I'll get that pulled off and bent into shape so the steps are actually there as they should be. From there, I did get my funnel paint today. That is the color that we are going with. So that is going to be our Cunard orange, or Cunard red, whatever you want to call it. But that seems to be pretty accurate to a lot of the pictures that I've seen in the past. We'll see how the match actually looks once I get it onto the funnels. But I'll be continuing to work along this top deck here. Another area that I will be doing is taping off all of these windows to get them ready for paint. These will be shining through, so they will be lighted and you'll be able to see them. So it's really important that I have a nice, good paint covering on them so they don't have brush marks going through it, because I'm going to airbrush these. But like I said, I just want to make sure they're right. My plan is to tape going one direction and then pull all that off, and then tape going the other direction. So I have 1mm tape ordered. It's not here yet, but that will be here soon. Other things, got to finish up the walls, doing some detail work on them. I'm not going to bore you with watching me paint little windows and doorways. So I can put the deck on. My deck chairs did arrive from Tom's Model Works, so I'll be able to work on getting them moving. And then the other thing I started playing with, these are the back promenade, I guess you would call it, for the sides. I have to cut these fences off that are molded into the kit, because they look awful compared to photo etch, so they're going to go away. Photo etch will replace them. I did find this nice blade here at Harbor Freight, which is a straight blade, and it makes it very easy to just kind of come down on a nice straight edge along the stanchion that sticks up. It pops out pretty easy. And then you go along the bottom here. Voila. I'm really happy with this blade, because I actually never worked with a straight blade like this, so this should make it pretty easy. So we'll be working on that. Just a lot of little projects that are going to be going on in this video, and I'm going to kind of hop around based on what I have in-house right now and what I'm waiting on. So anyway, I'm going to work on getting this bridge kind of put together. I'll come back and show you that once we get the steps and the little wind blockers on. Also, in doing scale deck, I found another product that I actually like better than the Gorilla wood glue. It's called Mod Podge. I've used this for years on model railroads, and I don't know why I didn't think about it when it came to putting scale deck down, but this stuff works fantastic. I can basically just kind of paintbrush it on, clamp it on, and it has a pretty extreme stick to it. So highly recommend this stuff. It is in my opinion better than the wood glue. It's movable. It's kind of like, it's almost like a very, very strong Elmer's glue. That's the best way to describe it. It is still water-based, but once it sets up and gets hard, it is hard. So just my recommendation on that. I'll show you these decks once they're dried. All right, I got the decking down on the back poop deck, promenade. I think that was second class, actually. So this is the upper deck for it. I used that Mod Podge that I was talking about in the last segment there. Stuff is fantastic. I mean, that's not going anywhere, so real happy with that. Did the other one, which I'm still going to have to cut some holes through this one so I get my lighting up into the next level above it, because that will ride above here. And then last night I did a little bit more detail work. Kind of zoom in here a little bit. You can see right here I put the I guess it would be kind of like a overhang for above the door. I got my photo etch staircases on, and I did those bridge wings that I was talking about. And as I was doing this, I'm starting to think that I may actually take a piece of styrene, paint it brown, and run them along the tops of the railings. So I'm going to give that a try. I experimented with a small piece of photo etch railing, and I do like the results of it. So really, let me get that to come into focus. Really thinking that might look pretty good. I know, I guess they'd be called a rail cap. I know in the Titanic 1-200 build, they actually make a rail cap kit, but obviously with this kit, it's kind of doing a lot of your own homemade scratch building type modifications. So also I got my walls glued in on the lower deck here, and my deck chairs did come, so I'll be able to start doing some work to get this closed up and finished off. But they came out nice. Put some weight down on it overnight, and then I taped it down and let it sit, so they should be good. They do have all of the fiber optic for all the walkway lights along the deck here, and obviously I already got the lighting set up for the main lights in the light strip. I just need to solder this wire onto there, so we'll do that in a little bit. But oops, sorry, that wire onto there, but we'll do that in a little bit. All right, we'll be back. Okay, something that I would suggest if you go to build this kit, take the time to tape off the doors. I brushed mine, and I mean, they're okay, they're not great. I ended up just doing kind of a black wash on them. It's actually tinted, it's acrylic crystal, that's what it's called. But anyway, what I'm doing, it kind of gives a little bit of the detail in the door edging there, but I have brush marks in it, and that does drive me insane when I have that. But the other part that I'm doing with this is right along the top of the doors, there is kind of an ornamental carving that was above it on the main boat deck. So I'm just kind of lightly going across it with that, and trying to show those dots a little bit. You can see it once you're close to it. But this is the top main deck, so, you know, it will be visible. That will be the area that people can see the most. So, like I said, I just want to kind of get them visible. I'm going to have to go back through on this side and try to do that as well on this one. The other thing I noticed in looking at pictures, and I'll post it after this one because you can see both the dots that I was talking about for the carvings, but you'll be able to see the ladders. And the ladders are not white on Lusitania. They are actually brown. So I'm going to pop these off, and I have repainted a few ladders that we're going to go with on brown. So anyway, just my word of advice for anybody that does decide to build this kit. Spend the time to mask those doors off. It definitely would make a humongous difference in your build. So, just my opinion. Take it or leave it. But from what I can see, I think I'd be happier if I would have painted them. Well, sprayed them. I also would have been happier if the Titanic window photo etch would have worked, but unfortunately, that did not pan out. So, I'm going to go ahead and get the fiber optic into here, get that repainted on the other wall. Then we'll get this glued down, and then we'll get this glued down on top of that. So, from there, I'm going to continue building on the top. I'm not going to go back to the promenade deck. I'm going to continue working on this upper deck, getting the buildings and the details and whatnot on that completed. I have tomorrow off, and we're in the middle of a snowstorm, so I got some time to kill, and I don't know, my people aren't all here yet for the promenade deck, and I think it'll just be kind of cool to get most of the top half built. So, I will be back in a little bit here. Well, for you, only a couple seconds. Okay, we got the rails on, got the ladders on. They look pretty good. Happy with them all in all. So, next step. I'm going to, instead of doing the acetate, I know originally I had planned on putting acetate on these windows, but I'm just finding that with how small they are and how frequently I have the fiber optics, that it's going to be easier just to use canopy glue. So the cool thing about canopy glue, it will dry clear, and you'll be able to see through them for the lighting effect, but it generally will have a little bit of a what do you call it, a frosting kind of look to it. So this one's actually already done. You can't really see it too well unless it's up against the light, but once we light the ship up, you will be able to see it better. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on real fast, and to do that, and this also will hold the fiber optics on for me, but I'm just basically gonna kind of wipe it across, make sure the windows are filled in, and you'll be able to see them, because see, they're solid then once you do this. I've done this technique on some other ships in the past. I did the bridge windows like this on the Titanic, and a few other models that I've built over the years, and it works real well, and it holds, and the canopy glue is pretty strong. So anyway, I'm going to do that, get it glued up, and then as soon as that's dry, we're going to probably go ahead and glue this deck down. I just got to run a jumper wire from the lighting, so I have somewhere to hook onto once we go onto the lower half of the ship down the road. But like I said, I'm going to continue on this upper deck area. Probably going to get the funnels sprayed in the next day or so, which probably will end up being part of this video. And we'll get the funnels sprayed, and we'll get the skylights done. That's also something I'm going to bring up probably in the next video after we get these done, is how to make very thin tape when what you ordered appears to be back ordered and you don't have time to wait. Because I ordered 1mm tape and it's not here, and I got a notification that it's not determined how long it will be until it's here. So I'm going to show you how to take tape and cut it down with a razor blade and a clamp. But that will be coming up after we get this deck on. All right, so we'll be back. Okay, so I went in to start looking at putting the deck down, and when I got to the back wall, I saw that. It's not really a back wall. So I look at the actual part, which is right there, and it's quite open. So my problem is that is where it's supposed to go. And you'll be able to see right into that. So it looks like I'm going to have to build the Verandah Cafe because it will be exposed. So this is going to take some kit bashing at this point. So I guess stay tuned. Okay, so here we go. This is basically how I think I'm going to do this. Right there is the area that will be the Verandah Cafe. What I'm going to use is a piece of styrene and put a wall back here first. And as you could see by the picture, it was kind of a brown shade. I don't have any doors that have holes in the top, but I don't think they'll be quite that visible. So I'm going to end up using one of these. Maybe if I get fancy, I'll drill a hole in it, but we'll see. Or maybe I'll use that door. They look a little bit more interior-ish. And then, left over from Queen Mary 2, I have a bunch of tables and chairs right in here. So these all fold and turn into tables and chairs. So I'm going to be able to do this. It's just going to be a little time consuming. I didn't really plan this one to happen. So first, just going to build our wall, which is going to be getting a fairly straight cut. Ooh, that was really good. Okay, our height, got to measure that up. So, going to be just under that mark I made, taking into account for the size of the scissor. Okay. Now the other thing that's important, it has to be the exact height as the walls on the side here, or the upper deck will not glue down properly. Okay. A little bit more. Okay. A little bit there. So once I started going through, I found multiple different pictures of what this looked like. So apparently it was either changed over the years or the pictures weren't that good, but I did find some original ones, so those were the ones that I posted before this segment started, and that's what we're going to kind of go after. Okay, So that will fit in there. Now, I saw two different ways of doing the floor. It looked like it had wood floors in one picture, and the other picture I saw was white flooring with like red marks kind of going down it, or striping. So I'm not sure if that was carpet or if it was tile, but I'm going to go with the white and do the flooring that way. And because I'm going to cheat and not try to freehand white stripes, I'm going to paint this red and then simply glue that down on the floor and give me my look that I'm looking for. So I'm going to work on that a little bit, and then I also will now have to do work to the upper deck here on the bottom side to make it look like the pictures that I saw from the cafe. And I know it's a small detail that most people really wouldn't go after, but when you put that deck down on top here, I don't have it exactly in because of the photo etch, you'll be able to see that much of it from in the back of the ship. So I think it can be pretty cool once we get it done here. And obviously the skylight above it will light up and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a detail worth going after, and I guess we'll make it a little bit more fun. So I'll be back at you after I get the floor done. Alright, we're back, and this is actually turning out pretty decently so far. So I got my red striping on the floor, I got my walls painted brown. Then the next part is there was columns in there, so I used some sprue and painted it brown, and then I got some green. Whoops, sorry about that. Let it focus. I got some little bit of green on there to kind of simulate the vines that were growing on it. And it looked like from the pictures I could see there were 6 of them. So we're going to give this a try here and see how it turns out, because I think it's going to be pretty close in reality. I also got some benches from the picture there. It looked like they kind of ran along the wall. These were a messed up set that I didn't do a real great job on painting. They kind of bled through, and it was actually spray paint, so I'm fine with using them inside here because you'll never really be able to see them that close. And I just had them around. So I'm going to take a little bit of CA glue and we're going to just put these pillars up. And hopefully I measured this right. Come on, paint stuck. Like I said though, this is a really minor detail that I don't know if I've really ever seen anybody do this on any of the builds that I've looked at of Lusitania, but I never realized it. This section was actually open and visible. So, me being me, I just want it to look accurate. I really wish they would make an updated kit of this. It would be great. Or a 1/200 scale. Yes, if anybody has a model company out there that happens to end up watching this video, 1/200 scale. Trumpeter, that would be great, that brand. They make a pretty cool kit for several different ships. Come on. Okay. And I did check the pictures. These pillars were not on the red lines. They were in between them. So that is what we're going for. And then I'll have tables kind of scattered around inside the cafe. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish putting these together. And then when I get that done, oh, I also got my doors in too, if you can see them. When I get that done, I'll be back with you, and hopefully I'll have the benches in and maybe be starting the tables and chairs. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so I got my pillars in. They look pretty good. Happy with them. Got my benches back there. They're gonna do the job, so no issues with that. I got my tables and chairs from the Queen Mary set painted up, and I'm just going with a grayish tablecloth and red seat. And I have no idea what the real one was, but this is what it's going to be. So I'll get them bent up, and yeah, it's going to be all right. So be back in a little bit. Okay, so we finished our Verandah Cafe. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. From the side, or from where you will actually be able to see it, I think it got pretty much the look that I was looking for. I got some people in there. Might add a couple trees, something like that yet. I haven't decided. But yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I wish the camera would focus a little bit better. But anyway, on to the next step from here. Okay, so I can start doing some of the skylights on the windows here, painting the lines off on this. I'm going to basically make some strip tape. So I actually found that a piece of the deck is basically the same thickness as these lines. So what I did, I clamped down a razor blade on here, and I'm going to take a piece of tape, or a roll of tape that's almost dead, and I'm just going to simply cut around this to create thin tape. It seems to be working pretty well here. I think I'm almost there. Yep. All right. So now I pull that out, and perfect, straight edged. Well, oh no, it just ripped. But this does look like it's going to be the right thickness to come right down the center here and do what I need to do. So I'm going to get these taped up, and I'll be back to you. All right, so I have the first round of tape done on these. My plan, because they have the raised windows, which you can kind of just see through the tape just barely, my plan is to spray it this direction basically, let it dry, then untape this, and then retape going that direction, and hoping that that's going to give me the effect that I'm looking for. So I'm going to get these off the sprue. I'll hold them with some putty on a piece of sprue, and then I'll spray them, and we'll be back. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how they turned out on the first run. Now I'm going to do the paint going the other way, and that'll give me my cross hatches or window panes, whatever you want to call them. So they look pretty good. I'm happy. Well, I got them all unmasked, and I'm very happy with how they turned out. I think once the lighting from underneath is on them, they're going to look really, really good. Yeah, they all turned out very nice. So that is a nice a nice part of this model. I like it. I do wish it was in photo etch. It would be so much easier, but yeah, a little bit of masking and you get it. I do still have to do the window panels on this one and these two here, but those I'm going to end up using kind of a dry brush to get across, because there's no way you're going to be able to tape them off with all that little detail in there. So from here, it's going to be starting to move on to getting the upper deck put together, and we'll see how far we get by the end of this video. All right, be back in a bit. Okay, so these, I have fixed 3 of them, but how they come, they have a lot of flashing on them. This hole isn't drilled out in there, so they kind of have a really, well, I'll show you one before I worked on it. That's what they look like from the right off the sprue, so they actually need quite a bit of work. First thing I'm doing is just trimming down the flashing on the sides here where the 2 pieces came together. Just trying to get it kind of smooth. They don't really have to be perfect, but they do need to be better than they are. Even the mounting location had a lot of flashing on it. Okay. All right, that's better. And then what I'm doing is drilling a hole with a regular drill bit. I already marked my center. I'm going to do that off of camera, but essentially when it's done, that is how it will look. Hopefully that is focused. All right, we'll be back. Okay, I started gluing on some of the skylights. One thing I didn't cover was that we have to drill out the holes where the skylights would be over top, so that's drilled out. I still have to clean it up. I basically just break it away with the nippers here and get it pretty clean as you can anyway. So what the idea is, there will be light in the deck underneath this, and okay, well, my deck chairs additionals have arrived and are painted, so I will be starting to bend them up over the next couple days. By next video, this deck will be glued down and the upper deck will be glued down, which I'll show you here in a minute. In the meantime, though, we're going to go ahead and get the wiring soldered up for this and this, so we are all pretty much completely illuminated. This will still be able to come off. I'll leave enough wire to make that happen so that I can work on putting the people and the benches down on this deck. All right, so in a minute I'll kind of show you what that's going to look like after I get done soldering. Okay, we're back. So I have the upper deck on right now. It's just sitting there. Got the lower deck on. And when I had it lit up, it's a little bit bright. Honestly, a little bit bright for 1904. So what I did, I just took some yellow paint and dabbed it over the LED bulbs. And I'm going to turn it on. I'll show you what that looks like. I think it's going to give us a real good look once we actually have all of the decking down. So obviously this is just set on, so you know there's going to be some light bleeds, all that kind of stuff with the lower decks, but whatever. So we got that. Now up here I have a wire going out to here because I'm going to put a wire in the overhead above the Verandah Cafe here, and I got my wires over here for the red and green navigational lights. So I gotta reconnect them after I had my little debacle back several episodes ago. All right, so in the meantime, today I was working on this a while and I got that finished. So my thoughts are the yellow light gives it a really good, I think, historically accurate look into, say, 1904, 1907, when this ship was built. So from the side, you know, it's going to still have some lights going on down in the hull that are going to be brighter, but I might actually yellow them a little bit as well. But I'm thinking along the top up here, that really has the look I'm looking for. Once I turn the lights down, I'll try that. So anyway, if you're learning anything, or if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you throw us a like or a subscribe. Definitely appreciate that. Continuing to film. I would say the next episode is going to probably be the funnels. I'm going to probably get them painted up and get them ready to go on. This deck, you see these holes along here, they are supposed to be for funnel stays, along with these right here too. I'm not going to be using rope for funnel stays. I will be using actual metal wire. It'll give us a more real look, and I think it'll just look better overall. But anyway, there we are with RMS Lusitania moving right along, and thank you very much for viewing. We'll see you next time.